What up everybody, Colton Nerdy Core, back with another video. This one's going to be another collecting video. This one's not going to be an actual collection per se, but it's going to be answering a question about my collections that I get a lot. Mainly in real life when people see my collections, and also I've been seeing more and more on my collection videos, especially the 2020 ones. This question coming up more and more. And that is why I still physically collect. The reason for this is that digital collecting, and especially for movies, games, and music, has really skyrocketed and is kind of taking over the market in some aspects. While there's a lot of benefits to digital collecting, such as taking up less space, easier, you don't have to go to like shops and like find certain ones. If there's a game that's kind of rare, but it's still on a digital platform, you can pick it up without having to worry about inflated costs. I've always still preferred a physical collection over that, and I really strive to buy all of my games physically. Oh, and of course, I'm excluding Steam. Steam is obviously like the black sheep in this because for PC gaming it is just way easier to find games digitally, and a lot of games don't come out physically for the PC anymore. So that I'm completely digital. I'm mainly talking about console collecting and movie collecting in this video. How I'm going to be structuring this is I'm going to be listing my main point, and then I'm going to go through both the gaming aspects related to the point and the movie collecting aspects related to the point, so I can keep kind of a structure and I'm not like half the video, the first half is talking about movies, second half talking about games. I think that would be stupid. So this is how I'm going to structure it. I just want to say sorry for how long it's been since I got my last video out. I'm in my last semester of university, so it's a lot heavier than my other semesters. So it'll probably only be like once or twice a month I'll be able to upload. But after these semesters over, I'm done school, and then I can really focus on YouTube and other aspects. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first point I'm going to be making is that with physical collecting, it feels like you actually own the stuff that you buy, when digital collection kind of feels like you're almost just renting it for an extended period of time. I think most collectors would agree with this as being one of the reasons why we physically collect over digitally collect. So one of the first points on the gaming side of this is that to reinstall or uninstall games that you own, you don't need a Wi-Fi connection and you don't need good internet in order to switch out and switch in games really quickly. At least with the physical games, you can pop in a disc and it will just install the stuff that's on the disc, and then you can play the game. You might not get the updates or anything if you're looking for a multiplayer game, but being mainly a single player gamer like I am, it doesn't really bother me too much. There's a lot of times where I bring my PlayStation to places that don't have good Wi-Fi, or I don't really trust the Wi-Fi, or don't want to use up Wi-Fi, like a friend's Wi-Fi or something like that, if they don't have unlimited. So it's a lot easier just being able to switch in and out of game. And speaking of friends, if you have a game that, say, you want to lend to them or you want to borrow one of them, it's a lot easier to just hand somebody a disc and be like, here you go, play it on your account, rather than giving them access to your account or doing those SharePlay accounts in order to play each other's games. It's just a lot simpler in my opinion. And the other thing is, if you physically own your games, you can trade with people. So it's not just about like once you have your games, if you don't like a game, you have to resell it at a terrible price to like a game store or something like that to make any money back. Say you go to like a convention, or you have a friend who has a game that you want, you can maybe be able to flat out trade it for them instead of a digital copy where you can't really do that. It gives a lot more flexibility on, if a game doesn't meet your standards, ways to recuperate more value out of it. And for the movie side, there's just one simple thing that goes with this. It's that watching movies at either cottages, vacations, in the car, on Wi-Fi, currently is a pain in the ass. If you don't have great Wi-Fi or internet, or you don't have a trusted place to connect to, like a hotel or something, I'm not connecting to their Wi-Fi, so I can just stick in a DVD into my laptop and I can watch a movie anytime. I just need to bring the DVDs that I want to watch. Same thing with seeing movies on streaming services and stuff like that. If you don't have good Wi-Fi, like my room is nowhere near my router, so if I wanted to watch anything in here, it would be a pain in the ass, and I'd have to like buffer it like 3 hours in advance to actually watch it. So having physical movies to just pop in and pop out into my PS4 makes it a lot easier for me if I want to watch something before I go to bed or just put in something quickly. This next point will probably be the most controversial one, because I see a lot of people who mainly digitally collect say this is one of the points that they see as a positive for digital collecting, and that is the prices. In my opinion, I think physical collecting, you still get better prices generally than you do online, especially for newer games. The main issue I see is that physically collecting, in order to do it cheaper than digitally collecting, you have to put in more effort because you have to actually seek out the deals. You have to actively go to stores all the time to check in for deals that they're not advertising. You have to go into stores that normally like wouldn't have websites or anything like that, like thrift stores and stuff like that, if you're looking to actually physically collect and get the maximum benefit out of it in terms of your price. So with gaming, obviously with the big exemption of Steam, because Steam is basically like sale here, sale there, sale there, sale there, sale there, sale there. Like, Steam's great, and I use Steam. I do all the sales that you waste a bunch of money on buying bulk games and then never touching them. I'm into that too, so I get that. Mainly what I'm talking about is console collecting. So the PlayStation Store and Xbox Store and Switch stores, or whatever it's called, Nintendo eShop, whatever it's called. In my opinion, the stores for the consoles are an absolute ripoff. Many of the games that come out brand new or games that have been out for like a year or so, you can go into any GameStop or EB Games and get their pre-played ones, and it's way better price than a sale price digitally. Also, with a lot of stores, especially if it's on the older collection, so right now that would be the PS3, because the PS3 is slowly on their way out from stores. You can go in and they'll have like bulk baskets where you can pick out a bunch of games for a couple dollars each. An example like this would be these 3 games and a bunch of other games when the PS4 was just starting. I think it was the year 4 of the cycle. My EB Games near me was trying to get rid of a lot of shelf space in order to clear out more rooms for the PS4. So a lot of the games that were in the like $20 to $15 range, they marked them down to $2 each and put them in a giant bin filled with them, and you could pick out as many as you want, and they were just trying to clear up space. So I got these 3 and probably I think 5 other games for only $2 a piece. And digital stores, especially like the PlayStation Store or Xbox Store, would never offer that because they're making no money on that really. And also on holidays and stuff like that, like Boxing Day or Black Friday, usually stores will do bulk sales on their used games. So games that are a couple years old or even newer games, you can usually get a buy 2 get 1 free or something like that, where you're still getting the holiday prices that they're marking it down to, and also getting a game for free, so it marks down all of them even more. You can usually get bundles on the PlayStation Store, but even their markdown prices usually are nowhere near as good as you can get actually going into these stores. Because you got to remember, a lot of stores, especially EB Games or GameStops and privately owned game stores, if you have any of those near them, will have in-store prices that aren't advertised because they only have a couple copies of a certain game, so they won't advertise that they have a lot of those on the flyer. So you go in and you can get more games than normally would have been advertised. And in movie collecting, I think this is the one where this gap in terms of physically collecting and digital collecting grows the most, is because digital collecting for movies is an absolute joke in my opinion. The prices are nuts, especially for older movies. Like if you go on any service where you're actually looking to to digitally own the entire movie, you're paying up the wazoo for stuff. Like movies that are like 5-10 years old, you're still paying about $10 to $15 for, which is nuts. You can go into any thrift store and find the movies on the shelf, DVD or Blu-ray, and it'll be like $1 or $2. Like, it's just all about the effort you put into physically collecting. The one thing that digital collecting does better than physically collecting is obviously for movies, if you're streaming or looking to just rent a movie, obviously physically collecting is better in that sense because there's no like Blockbusters. There's only the Redbox things, which also are very limited on your selection, and I don't even have one near me, so I can't really say if the service is good or not. But if you're looking to actually collect, physical movies are the way to go, because you can get them very much on sale on Black Friday or anything like that if you're looking for newer movies. And places like Amazon online and online distributors of physical copies have really good deals occasionally. So you just got to keep an eye out for these. And my favorite thing about physically collecting, especially for movies, is that usually when you buy a physical movie, you get a digital copy with it. So like if you buy the Blu-ray edition of something, it'll come with a digital code inside. So you're getting both for the same price, or usually better price than you would just buying the digital copy online. And finally, we get to probably the most important point for me, is the collecting value itself. And what I mean by that is the extra value you get by actually physically owning the game or movie compared to just having a digital file of it online on your account. The first thing for this is that with physically collecting, I actually own this. Like, it's sitting here. I don't have to worry about the service messing up, something happening with my accounts, that I will lose this copy. So that's a big thing for me personally. And another thing for me is I really like the artwork of these. I like with movies and physical copies of games. The artwork's a big thing for me. So like the new Catherine Steelbook that I got, like the artwork on this is really cool, and I really enjoy like having all these on the shelves and being able to go through and look at them and admire the artwork, the manuals, and all that stuff. Like it adds more to collecting for me than just digitally owning games. To keep going with these examples, physical collections of steelbook editions, or if you see in the back, my collector's edition of Injustice, physical collections of those, I have way more value than digital collections because you're actually getting something with the game physically. You're not just getting like new map add-ons or all the DLCs or something like that. A lot of collector's editions and stuff like that will come with all the DLC included, as well as statues. That one comes with the exclusive comic book. Some of them come with art books, like the Assassin's Creed one I have. So there's, in my opinion, just a lot more value with getting these. And like for steelbooks, the alternate artwork is really cool for me. So it just is more value in like different type of collection. Another thing, firstly, for me, a lot of the games that I have the emotional attachment as well. Not that like I'd cry if a game like broke or something like that, or I'm sitting there being like, oh my gosh, this is my baby type thing. But there's certain games like, for example, Rumble Racing is a very obscure racing game for the PS2 and other consoles. But me and my brother used to play this all the time, and this is the exact copy we played. So it's cool having the original copy that you would play. Or for example, Battlefront, which I still think is better than 2, but that's besides the point. I used to play this with my dad and my brother all the time, so having the physical copy adds that extra like value to it for me personally, because I own the original copy. So overall, the main thing for me is that, as well as I like digital collecting and I don't have anything against it, I know the economy and the kind of general surroundings of gaming and movies has moved digitally, and I'm also for it. I support it, and it's more about just people enjoying games and movies and being able to have fun talking about them and experiencing them. That's the main thing with collecting for me. But I would like to see physical collecting also continue. That's really why I wanted to make this video, in that to shed some light on the positive aspects of physical collecting and why I think it still should be a thing moving forward. Because I know there's a lot of talks about later consoles, even the PS5 before it was announced, being digital only in the future, which I am not looking forward to at all. So I just made this video to outline personally why I still physically collect and why I would like physical collecting to still continue in the future. I'd definitely like to hear what everybody else has to say about this. I know a lot of people who sub to my channel or watch my videos are collectors themselves. So I'd like to hear if a lot of you just physically own your games, or you physical and digital, or just digital, and like the reasons for it. Because I think it's something that if people can start like talking about like keeping both, I think that's the way to go. Instead of switching it all to digital, I think physical collecting still should be a thing. I think there's a lot of benefits of it. Thanks for watching, and remember, everybody has some nerdiness at their core.